Hello, virtual learners. It's time for more of our chapter book, Mercy Watson Goes for a Ride. As you might remember, Mercy has gone for her Saturday ride with Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson has been driving too fast, and a police officer pulled up behind him. Baby Watson is hiding in the back seat. And when Mr. Watson looked over at Baby, what did Mercy do? Another problem is who is looking for Baby Lincoln? Her sister. Do you remember her sister's name? Eugenia. You've got it. So Eugenia visited Mrs. Watson to say, I think the pig has something to do with it. Should we keep reading and see what happens next? Let's go for it. Chapter number 9. Officer Tomalolo had to go very fast to catch up with the convertible. Do you remember what a convertible is? It's a car that has a top that can come off and go back on. Now, one of the things that we have to do when we're reading is we have to get a mental movie or a picture in our brain of exactly what's happening. So in your brain, I want you to see a convertible driving down the road and a police car trying to go very fast after it to keep up. Do you have that in your brain? Now in the convertible, do you see a picture of Mr. Watson, Baby Lincoln, and Mercy? Where is Mercy sitting? I think that you have a great mental movie. Let's keep going. The officer had to speed. Is that vehicle swerving? Officer Tomalolo asked himself. It is, he answered himself. It is most definitely swerving. Is the driver of that vehicle breaking the law? Officer Tomalolo asked. Without a doubt, he answered. The law is being broken. It is time to take action. Officer Tomalolo pulled up alongside the car. He shouted into his bullhorn. Okay, do you know what a bullhorn is? One of the great things is this book has some pictures in it, so it shows us. He's shouting into this thing right here is called a bullhorn. Some people call it a megaphone, but it makes your voice much louder. And what does he say? Pull over! The driver turned. The driver looked at him. The driver oinked. Is that pig behind the wheel? Officer Tomalolo asked himself. Yes, he answered himself. Yes, that pig is most definitely behind the wheel. Again, Officer Tomalolo shouted into his bullhorn. Pull over! Pigs cannot drive cars! Pull over immediately! What does immediately mean? If your mom and dad, it's bedtime, and they say, go brush your teeth immediately, does that mean you should slowly go and get your toothbrush and then stop and pick up some toys? No, immediately means right away, as quick as a wink, immediately. Do we think that Mr. Watson can pull over the car immediately? Why not? He is absolutely correct, said Mr. Watson. Pigs cannot drive cars, and I would like to pull over, but I can no longer feel my legs. Therefore, I cannot step on the brake pedal. Therefore, I cannot stop this car. Oh, dear, said Baby. I think we are in trouble. Now, the illustrator in this story, I think, had the most perfect mental movie that they turned into a picture. Because this picture helps my mental movie to get all the way super strong. Look at this. Mercy is having so much fun. Mr. Watson is very, very scared. Baby is like, oh no, what have I done? And Officer Tomalolo just looks so confused. That's exactly like what I have in my mental movie. Let's see what happens next. Chapter 10. Back on Decawoo Drive, Mrs. Watson invited Eugenia inside. Now, there's no picture here, so I have to have my mental movie. So in my mental movie, I see Mrs. Watson opening the door and having Eugenia come inside. Do you see that too? As soon as you do, let's keep going. There's no point in worrying alone, Mrs. Watson said. Come in and help me fix a snack for my darlings. Mrs. Watson brought Eugenia into the kitchen. Will you help me butter some toast? Asked Mrs. Watson. Toast? Grumbled Eugenia. Who cares about toast? Don't worry, said Mrs. Watson. She patted Eugenia on the back. If Baby is with Mr. Watson, then she is just fine. Mr. Watson is an excellent driver. He is a menace. Ooh, see again these italic marks that we talked about last time? When the letters are a little bit different, a little bit fancy. What do we think menace might mean? Have you ever heard that word before? If someone is a menace, It means that there's someone who causes trouble. If you're a menace, you cause trouble. Mr. Watson doesn't seem like someone who really causes trouble very much. But he was driving kind of fast. He is what was that word again? Menace, said Mrs. Watson. Pardon? Said Mrs. Watson. Why, he is a menace, said Eugenia. Pardon? Said Mrs. Watson. Nothing, said Eugenia. She picked up a piece of toast. She applied the tiniest amount of butter. Oh, heavens, said Mrs. Watson. You have to put on more than that. Mercy likes a great deal of butter on her toast. Who cares how pigs like their toast? Eugenia said. There, said Mrs. Watson. I know that you are worried, but everything will work out. Baby will come home. In the meantime, why don't we just concentrate on our buttering? Toast is not the answer, grumbled Eugenia, but she buttered another piece anyway. Do you want to know what happens next? You'll have to wait until chapter 11. See you next time.